Hello and welcome back, and today I have for you a fantasy cast list that was inspired and brought up in my first ever YouTube live that I did back at the end of February, and somebody suggested a 3-team style Cutthroat-esque format of a challenge season where we have the challenge versus Big Brother versus Survivor. Now that everything is under the Paramount Plus umbrella, whose show has the better competitors? Now we can see them going head to head to head. Now the way I'm gonna go about this video is that I'm gonna get into who I put on this cast list, and then we're gonna get into the format a little bit later. So let's start off talking about who I picked for the Survivor team. And the first competitor we're gonna be looking into is Natalie from Survivor Season 29, Blood vs. Water 2, San Juan del Sur, which she won that season. She also participated in Survivor Season 40 Winners at War, and she was a runner-up. She made her challenge debut on The Challenge Season 36 Double Agents, where a lot of the Survivor fandom came over to watch her compete on The Challenge, and many were disappointed that she had to be pulled from the season. She was medically DQ'd because she found out she was pregnant. I think it would be great to have her back on the challenge. Next, we have Jay from Survivor Season 33, Millennials vs. Gen X, where he took home 6th place. He made his challenge debut on The Challenge Season 35, Total Madness, where he was medically DQ'd. And he was also on The Challenge Season 36, Double Agents. Jay has become a fan favorite on The Challenge, and I think his challenge experience would help the rest of his team, which are essentially rookies coming onto this challenge season. The first rookie, and that is Michelle from Survivor Season 32 Khao Rung, which she won, and Survivor Season 40 Winners at War, which she took home 2nd runner-up. She is very much underrated and great at puzzles. Her and Natalie were working very closely with each other once Natalie came back from the edge of extinction on Season 40, which they worked together to get to the final tribal council. I think they would work really, really well on the challenge together. Someone else that has a history with Michelle is Wendell from Season 36 Ghost Island, which he won that season, and he also came back for Season 40 Winners at War. Now I said he had a history with Michelle, and it's because they are exes, and we saw that storyline play out in Survivor 40. I think it would be interesting to see how they would work together on a challenge season together as they are working on the same team. The next competitor I have on this list is Michaela from Survivor Season 33 Millennials vs. Gen X. Jay helped blindside Michaela, so maybe that would play in a factor of them on a team and how they would work together. Michaela also came back the next season on Survivor Season 34 Game Changers, which she took home 7th place. Michaela is physically strong and will never back down from a challenge or any competitor trying to doubt her. The next competitor on this list is Tommy from Survivor Season 39 Island of the Idols, which he won that season. He has a very good social game, he's very strong, and he has also shown interest in wanting to come on the challenge and compete. And I say, why not? Let's bring him on, especially on this type of challenge season, and I think he would excel and help be a leader on this team. The next Survivor competitor I have on this list is Sydney from Survivor Season 32 Khao Rung, where she took home 4th place. She worked very closely with Michelle. She's a bodybuilder, she's very strategic, and I think that if she were to come onto the challenge, whichever elimination she was going to be going in against, and no matter who she's going up against, I would have to be inclined to think that she would take on anybody and win. I mean, pole wrestle, hall brawl, whatever it is, I would put my money on Sydney. I think Dean from Survivor Season 39 Island of the Idols would be a great addition on the challenge and this cast list. He was runner-up on Island of the Idols to Tommy, which could play a factor in maybe there's a rivalry between them. He's physically strong, he was a college athlete. Also, I feel like he looks like Tony from the challenge, so I feel as though that Dean would just be easily integratable into the challenge universe. The final 2 competitors I have on this list are both from Season 38, Edge of Extinction. The first competitor I'm going to be looking into is Victoria, who took home 6th place. She is very smart, and is always thinking. She got a 4.0 in college, so she's very smart, very strategical, was a major threat to win the game. I think we need plotters and schemers in the game to be able to make and see big moves happen within the season. Chris, he's the last player that I have for the Survivor team. He went on to win Edge of Extinction. He's physically strong, and in the season, he was on Edge of Extinction for a long time. He was able to win himself back into the game where he won the final immunity. However, he gave it up to put himself in danger, went to fire making, won the fire making, and that propelled him to get the title of Sole Survivor. He's not afraid to make big and risky moves, which I think are important on the challenge if you want to become a challenge champ. Now let's move to see who's going to be on the challenge team, and the first competitor I have is Ashley, Millionaire Mitchell. Her original MTV show was The Real World Explosion. She has played 8 challenge seasons. She's a 2-time challenge champ. She has shown that she is a political mastermind. She is a social chameleon and do whatever it takes to get that money. She is definitely one of the best that the challenge has to offer. Let's move on to Bananas, whose original MTV show was The Real World Key West. He has been on 21 challenge seasons. He's a 7-time challenge champ. Both competitors that I have starting off this challenge team has both won over $1 million in grand prize money. We have to have the best of the best on this challenge team, which goes into Cam from Are You the One season 5. She's been on 5 challenge seasons. I personally think she's one of the best, if not the best overall competitor in the game. She has the politics locked down. She's physically strong, and she is an absolute beast. Queen Cam, Killer Cam. The next competitor I have is none other than CT, whose original MTV show was The Real World Paris. He's been on 18 challenge seasons. He's a 3-time challenge champ. If you're gonna have a challenge team, CT is a no-brainer. Now, a competitor that has taken a couple of seasons off is Cara Maria from Fresh Meat 2. She made her debut. She's a 2-time champ. Spoiler alert, Paulie's gonna be on the Big Brother team. How would Cara and Paulie do in a season where they are split apart on 2 separate teams? And also, Cara is gonna have to work with her ex, who's on the same team as her, and that is Kyle from Geordie Shore MTV UK. He's been on 6 challenge seasons. His notable finishes is 2nd place in Total Madness finals. It would be interesting to see how the dynamic would be with Cara and Kyle on the same team having to work together while Paulie's on a separate team. What would happen? I think that would be super, super interesting to find out. The next competitor I have is Tori from Are You the One season 4. She's been on 5 challenge seasons. She's won a total of $15K in her winnings. And I thought this would be very interesting to see because Tori and Fessy, who I have on the Big Brother team, spoiler alert, how would they work as they have been seen canoodling with each other outside of the challenge house? How would they deal with being on separate teams? The next competitor I have is none other than Corey Wharton, whose original MTV show was The Real World Explosion. He has been on 8 challenge seasons. I think it would just be a no-brainer to have him on the challenge team, especially being known as Mr. MTV. The next competitor I have on this list is Nani, whose original MTV show was The Real World Las Vegas. She's been featured on 10 challenge seasons. Her most notable finish is 2nd place in Free Agent. She's won over $35K in winnings. And I think this team is stacked challenge-wise, and I think that she would benefit greatly, and I think the team would benefit greatly with her on this team. And now the final challenge competitor I have for the challenge team is Nelson from Are You the One season 3. He's been on 7 challenge seasons. He's part of TYB. He's gotten the hero edit the past 2 seasons, laying down his challenge game for Corey and then getting absolutely demolished by Fessy. Also, Fessy's on this cast list on a separate team. What would their rivalry look like going after each other? I think that would be super, super interesting to see. And now let's look to the Big Brother team, and we're gonna start off with Fessy, whose original Big Brother season was Big Brother 20, where he took home 9th place. He made his challenge debut in Total Madness, where he made it to the finals in his rookie season. He also came back to do the challenge Double Agents. Spoiler alert, I have an ex of his on the Big Brother team that I think would again be very interesting to see play out. We move on to the next challenge competitor, and that is Casey, who was the Big Brother 20 winner. She made her challenge debut on the challenge Total Madness, where she made the finals, and then she came back to do the challenge Double Agents. Again, just like Fessy, she's physically dominant, and I think she would do really, really well on this type of season. She's doing well being a part of the Big Brother Alliance, but also playing other alliances, but now they can't just be like on the fence. I think that would be super interesting to see how their strategies would change on a season like this one. Now, I mentioned him before, but I have Paulie on this cast list from Big Brother 18. He was on the challenge Final Reckoning, where he made the finals, the challenge War of the Worlds, the challenge War of the Worlds 2, where he made the finals. Again, my girlfriend is on the opposite team. I'm gonna have to compete against her. Also, her ex and her are on the same team. How is that all gonna play out? How would their strategies and their gameplay change from the last time we saw them? Speaking of somebody that's taken time off from the challenge, I have Davon on here from Big Brother 17, Big Brother 18, Big Brother 22. She was featured on The Challenge Final Reckoning, The Challenge War of the Worlds. There's been talks that she's talked about how she's not super thrilled to come back onto the challenge, but there have been tweets that she put out there that if, say, Jamar from Big Brother Canada or Anthony from Big Brother Canada would come on to do the challenge, she would maybe be persuaded to come back onto the challenge, which is a great segue to the next two competitors I have on this list, and that is Jamar from Big Brother Canada 8. He was ejected from that season. He is the first house guest to be removed from the game, and that was pretty controversial of what was going on. Fans were in outcry. He is super entertaining, and he has shown interest in wanting to come on to the challenge, and I would love to see him on the challenge. I would love to see Big Brother Canada represented on the challenge. Speaking of Big Brother Canada, I'm looking into Anthony from Big Brother Canada 7. He was a runner-up. This dude is physically strong. He has a great social game, as he was never voted against. He didn't get a single vote casted against him. Nobody wrote his name down. Nobody put his key in the box, which ultimately came back to bite him because he did not get a single vote at the final two. But he is just a great, great competitor, and I would love to see him on the challenge. The next competitor I have on this list is Natalie from Big Brother 18. She's been on 3 seasons of the challenge, made 1 finals. We have not seen her since War of the World. She was one of the first Big Brother US players to be on the challenge, and I think that it would be great to see her back on the challenge, especially for this type of season. Another rookie from the Big Brother US I have is Danielle from Big Brother Over the Top, where she took home 6th place. She got 2 HOH wins and 1 veto win. She is a great, strong, strategical player. Let's bring her onto the challenge. I think she would do fantastic on the challenge. The next competitor I have on this list is Mark from Big Brother 19, where he took home 9th place. He was an alternate, as it was said, for the challenge Double Agent, so he was very, very close. He was also on MTV's X on the Beach. He is strong. I think Mark and Fessy on the same team could be overpowered, especially if they get into a hall brawl against somebody else. It would be super, super fun to have him on the season. And the final competitor I have for the Big Brother team, I mentioned her in Fessy's little rundown, and that is Haley from Big Brother 20. She is Fessy's ex. What could happen in a house where Fessy has to go up against Tori, who he's been canoodling with, and also having to work with his ex on the team? I think that would be just super fun to watch and see what could go down. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, this will be a 3-team style format, just like Cutthroat, and I think that is going to be the best way to introduce an influx of like Survivor rookies and Big Brother rookies into the game without having the rest of the vet consistently voting them in over and over again, kind of like how they did Jay in Total Madness. I think that's a better way to do that and have them integrate within the season and the challenge game. Now, there's gonna be $1 million on the line, which is like the challenge standard nowadays, so that's not going to change. Every daily challenge, a team is going to be crowned either first place, second place, or third place. If you win first place, your whole team is immune. Unlike War of the Worlds 2, you cannot vote in somebody from your own team at the eliminations. If you get second place, you will have to vote in somebody from your own team. Every elimination is going to be one man and one woman going into the elimination every single time, every single episode, kind of like Cutthroat. And so if you get second place, you will have the decision on who you're going to send in from your own team. Now, if you get third place, essentially last place in that day's daily challenge, you have no control, as the first place team will now get to vote in one man and one woman from your team to go into the elimination, to go against whoever the second place team voted in to go into the elimination. This puts a lot of pressure on where you finish in the daily challenges. And unlike War of the Worlds 2, there is no swapping teams. And I really wanted to make this a bit more of a straightforward season. I think with Double Agent, it's being a little heavy-handed with the twist and production kind of intervening a lot of the time. I think with this kind of format, it's a little bit more straightforward and to the point. Now, I have this season coming in around 13 episodes. With an episode 0, I really liked how they did this in Double Agents, where we got to meet a lot of the rookies. There's about 12 rookies that I put on this cast list, so we get to meet them, get to hang out with them for the full hour, go into the daily challenge in episode 1, and then we go through the whole season. We have like a 2-part finals, and I think this would just be really, really fun to see a season where we have the challenge versus Big Brother versus Survivor. We get an influx of Survivor players. There's a lot of talk about a Big Brother alliance this season. Well, guess what? Now you have to work together to get farther. Is the Big Brother alliance more dominant than, say, the challenge beast that I put on this cast list, or will the newbies of Survivor come in and do something well in there? We're gonna have to wait and see, but that is it for this fantasy cast list of like a Cutthroat conquering Paramount, where the challenge versus Big Brother versus Survivor. What do you think about this fantasy season and cast list? Let me know that in the comment section below. Is there somebody that you think I should have swapped to be put into this instead of somebody else on these teams? Let me know that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.